Hello. I wanted to jump on here and just give you a prophetic perspective, or God's just been talking to me through the garden about how this next season we need to be leading as pioneers in the marketplace. And let me just share with you this garden and some of the things he has been talking to me about. If I can get this flipped over. Okay. So I am a new gardener. New. And when we got this patch first tilled up, I got really excited and I immediately planted this section right here. I mean, I didn't even plan. I just was like so excited, right? And I immediately planned, and then we didn't really have anything over here on this side. And I was spending so much of my energy weeding and pulling out the weeds. So after the fact, I went and bought this weed barrier, this black stuff that you see down here, and I put it down. And I realized, hey, it's going to be too much work to try to put weed barrier here and cut out, because there's just so much fruit that's already starting to flourish there. And so as I'm sitting there and I'm putting down this weed barrier a couple weeks ago, God was just like, your structure of your business is the same, right? We really have to pause and really be thinking about how we're going to structure things out. We have to lay out very clear boundaries so that we're not working harder than we have to in this season. And we need to be very clear and precise on who we are going to serve in this new season, establishing those clear boundaries in place so that we're just focusing our energy on harvesting the fruit versus over here, I'm focusing on harvesting the fruit and I'm having to put energy into pulling the weeds. Now, so I think this is just an amazing prophetic perspective here, because what you see over here is a matriculation process happening, right? So next year, when I go to plant this garden, I will have learned from this experience to be very clear, to lay down the boundaries early on both sides, make sure I have very clear boundaries so that all of my energy is really going towards pulling the fruit and not the weeds. And in Matthew, God talks about the parable of the sower. And what's going to happen is, if you don't take care of these weeds, you're going to lose some of these plants in the process, this matriculation process. And that's just kind of part of it. But there's really just so much to be thinking here about the structure. And we are headed into a new season. God is asking us to do business very different. I shouldn't say very differently, because it is his original intent for us. It's his original intent for us to be in relationship with one another, to be in community, to be a light where we live, work, and play. And it is his intention to bring us back to his original intention to lead by faith and really build up people, instead of focusing on so much of the way the marketplace has worked for, since I've been a part of it, since I've really been a part of the marketplace, has been about managing, forcing our people to do certain things, and it hasn't been so much on investing in people. So one thing that I bring to the table is how are we in this middle of this transition? You saw this garden very clearly has two different things going on right here, and it really is symbolic to what's going on. Is we're in a middle of a transition. We have the new thing that we're stepping into, but we're still having to kind of take care of the old thing too. And he's asking us to cross over. He's asking us to make that step, and you'll see a more visible, tangible thing with the garden, the literal garden, next year when that matriculation process happens. So as you, as a leader and pioneer, are building this new thing, you're going to have to sit, you're going to have to pause, you're going to have to co-create with the Lord, and you're going to have to structure for this new season so that you don't have more weeds and more energy that you're putting into stuff that you shouldn't be focusing on. He really wants you to look at your history and read. Data will tell us a story. I mean, we can look at statistics too on that, but he wants to see, where are you getting the most fruit from? And that's where you're going to need to focus your attention in this new season. And everybody's a little bit different to that. And what I have for you as a leader, because it's really important as a leader that we're pouring into you, because you are the person that's leading your ship wherever you live, work, and play. Whether whatever organization you're a part of, you're the one that's leading. You're the one that is building those people up. You're the one that is inspiring hope. Hope, a heart that doesn't have hope really just it gets saddened, And so as a leader, it's really important for you to stop and pause, fill your own bucket so that you can turn around and fill those people that you're working with. So what I just want to invite you into is what I call my freedom framework. It is a framework where we will sit and we will co-create what your new structure is going to look like in this new season. Especially, I'm a mom, so that's a really good analogy. Seasons are constantly changing. You're constantly having to restructure things in your home, and your organization is going to have to be restructured for this season. And we need to make sure that you are in alignment with the Lord, in obedience, and walking that out in great faith, because that's where you're going to see your fruit, right? Where then we can start to habit stack, and we can start to then focus on other skill sets within the marketplace. But it really starts with this foundation. So I encourage you that if you're watching this resonates and you want to make sure that you're in alignment to have freedom and flow with great ease, think about a domino effect. We're going to take the new structure you have built, and we're going to build it in such a way that aligns with you in the season that you're in. We're going to lay that out so that it falls with great ease. You're not doing this hustling. You're not doing this grinding. You just kind of get to sit back and relax and watch your harvest come in, like I am right now. So send me a direct message and we can chat to see if the Freedom Framework is what you need to help you structure in this new season for yourself, your business, your organization. So specifically calling out CEOs, C-suite executives, entrepreneurs, ministry leaders. You guys are the individuals I'm looking to pour into in this season to set that foundation so you have ease and flow. What you can expect to come out of that is, obviously, you're going to hear God's voice a lot more clearly. So you're going to have clarity. You're going to have wisdom. You're going to have more hope. You're going to have a greater faith to take those next steps. But you're going to walk away with a very structured plan in each of your areas of life. And then at the very last two sessions, we're going to focus in on your organization and your business, because if you're, again, in alignment, everything else is going to flow and follow. But take some time, jump into Matthew, read the parable of the sower, sit, ask Holy Spirit, ask God, ask Jesus, what are you telling me about this garden? What do I need to learn from this? What boundaries do I need to be put in place? Am I spending too much time pulling weeds? Because your heart is going to get really sick really quick. It's, the marketplace, they call it burnout, right? If you don't have that clear understanding of what you're transitioning into. So I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to enjoy hanging out and watching my own harvest come in. literally and figuratively. Bye.